Okay, welcome to BunnyCast episode 14, recorded on March 13th, 2009.
Friday the 13th.
Sometimes the dreams come back and seem so real to me. The sky turns so cold and black. I'm scared of what I see, but I'm not afraid anymore. You vanquished my fears. You gave me the reason to laugh and stole all my tears.
Alright, welcome to another episode of BunnyCast. This is probably the first one, I think, in a long time, if ever, we have actually had a topic prepared in advance, and we've done something for it, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Well, not quite so much a topic. We've got something we want to talk about, but not.
It's a topic. There's enough there for a topic.
There's a difference between, I would define as a topic, that's something we're talking about, and a topic is something where we can bring in, which is big enough that we could bring a guest in. We didn't have a topic in that regard, so we don't have a topic.
I think the movie stars are a little bit too busy to deal with a small podcast that doesn't have a huge audience just yet.
Yeah, they never
you.
get back to me. They never call. Feeling a bit insulted and slighted now.
In any case, your arguing hosts are Dame Helennet, the LeatherClad, that would be me, and Squato. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's a me!
And Killerfish, go ahead.
Hello, little people.
What's your title?
Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Sam the Samwise Sam.
The Honourable Lord Sir Killerfish. Sorry, the Honourable Right Reverend Lord Sir Killerfish of the Keenfans. Gee, that is so
Also
hard to
known as-
remember sometimes.
I remember it.
And it's proving that he's evil then, because he's English.
Yes, all
No. I'm not English. I'm not evil because I'm English.
You're English because you're evil?
No, not that either. The two aren't related, if you understand what I mean.
The only way he could really be more evil is if he had a particularly very English last name to go with, like, say, Bassingwaith. And then it could be just with someone that's got a then they speak, it's always got because of their name, Bassingwaith.
Yes, so you mean Wagstaff isn't a typically English name then?
And what's my name? My last name?
We don't know.
It's a freaking village named after it.
We still don't know it.
Well, I'm not going to say it unless you want me to.
It's already online anyway.
Okay. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about news. Who's been on the forums with more or enough regularity to talk about it?
Squato.
Well, I've been more looking. I haven't actually been posting because of. Well, I lost my computer for a week because it crashed.
Oh, nice.
Due to yes, it was either because of dust, which could have been from the fires or from the outback or whatever, or it was from someone because they've been working on the power lines. Maybe they did a slight surge, and mine was the one item to get it. Well, my computer was the one item to get it.
Forum news?
Forum news, looks like the forums, it's just like it has always been.
They haven't
Nothing really
exploded
coming.
into a violent mob of angry people yet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Instead, they're either a violent mob of people or an angry mob of people.
It's not violent and angry.
Right.
Who may or may not be carrying around weapons that can change people's forms.
Yeah, but that's pretty much every day, you know.
Okay, so
If you don't.
let's talk about the comic a little bit. We have the...
It's still there.
Yes, it's still there. In the comic itself, we have the mysterious old guy who came out of the statue, which has been revealed. He is the creator of the Derwitchery diamond, it looks like. So, Squato, I understand you wanted to make a comment about that?
Well, my comment is about how his reaction has been to the fact that the so-called curse has how it's affected. Elliot has been, oh look, he turns into a girl. One hand, look, it's just the thing. It started off, but the way it's been going of late, I'm not as particularly feeling that's a good direction with it, due to the fact that it's just Elliot turns into a girl. But then again, he's also said that that's been his most used magic. I'm like, but that feels a bit weak considering the fact most of his magic, if you really look at it, has been used in magic attacks when he's fighting.
Yeah, but the point is that those magic attacks themselves aren't very powerful in comparison to his curse.
Yeah, but it's meant to be. It's kind of like there's the Labro series, which is the more you use it, the more you gain skills, and that's where he's been mostly using his skill set at. And the one TF he's really had so far is he just turns into a different type of girl.
Well, he also turns into a cat, which should be interesting. I kind of wondering.
No, not related to this magic, because there's been nothing along those lines has been done with that.
Right, but what I'm saying is that
Dan said
there's the possibility.
Dan said that he'll do something in the future, but for now he's focused on just the girly forms.
Right.
And I'm not the only one that's thinking that's a bit dumb. Look, it's just that type of thing happens in the comic. It's expected, but the way how the level of how far it's going at the moment, it just feels a bit weak. And yeah, it's an old topic on the forums anyway. Some people are just annoyed to it to the point where it comes up. Oh, we just completely shut down from saying anything about it.
I guess I'm not sure what the controversy is. Which
because some people seem to be along the lines of that. The reaction is that you can't say that because it's the way Dan's doing it to those that just go on, this is making the comic bad.
Well, that's their opinion.
Yes.
It's always going to be a wait and see for whether or not it's going to be bad. But speaking of controversy, the one thing I didn't quite understand on the forums is there was in the responses to the comic from March 10th, where the mysterious old guy character says, "I swore to God," and somehow this turned into some
religious debate,
commentary on religion, and I'm all,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Even Dan said that it's not done that way. It's just that it's basically someone that's taken to the extreme what the literal meaning of what they've done.
Yeah, and that's how I interpret it. And I'm all, okay, if you're seeing some big huge controversy or commentary on religion in a single statement that has been used throughout centuries by many, many different cultures.
And and in terms for different religions, amongst others.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you're looking for a fight if you're seeing that.
Some of the ones that were doing it are just more or less the so-called militant atheists.
Yeah.
I just ignore them anyway.
Militant atheists.
I've had enough. You know what they are, don't you, Killerfish?
They're the guys who go around slapping people with fish. No, sorry, that's you, Homer. Sorry, I get so confused.
I just want to point out at this time that a militant atheist is not really a whole lot better than any other form of zealot. So moving on.
But you can't say that to them because they don't believe in anything, so they're not a zealot.
They believe they don't believe in anything. Okay, moving on. Miscellaneous
One
news.
last comment in that. What I like is when you see them come up is those that make fun of it, of those type, the so-called zealots. For example, they have a church in Sydney that had a sign up saying, "We put the fun in fundamentalism." In reply, the Anglican Church put up a sign that said, "We put the mental in fundamentalism."
That's not bad.
Look, at least they're not militant agnostics.
We're not sure what we believe in, and we're going to make sure you know it, damn it. Okay, miscellaneous news. Squato, did you want to give us some updates about what's going on for you?
For myself, besides what happened with the computer, Things have been going okay. Although I had an interesting flat with my car, which interesting
Ooh, who
because
won?
I also had to
News.
Flat tire.
News. Not ongoing things. What's new? What's new from Aussie land?
Well, I got some new little points I got written down. Last weekend, the straightest party in town happened, and that was the Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. I say it was the straightest party in town because they went down the straightest road in Sydney.
My head.
There was a guy. This is Australia, what do you expect? A guy in Canberra who woke up one night to find a kangaroo jumping into his window and was inside the house, so he then left it outside.
Okay. Killerfish. Any news from across that side?
Actually, one quick little thing, and that is that they have in Australia, this is also a bit of a warning to anyone that's listening, if you haven't actually lodged your tax return for last year, do it ASAP because the stimulus package is being posted out now. And for those that aren't sure, the Australian government's basically giving free money to the any and all Australian taxpayers. Depending on how much you earned last year, up to the order of about $900, $950. Oh, one last thing for anyone that's really interested in game making, there's a competition that's being done between the Australian Film Commission and the TV show Good Game on ABC. And the competition is that if anyone has the idea for a game design, it can be any idea or anything, they just put it into the competition and there's a possibility that they will make this game for you. But it has to be of a serious matter, something along the lines of, say, education about... I'm trying to think of good examples of particular games. Education about, say, good work safety practices, which is there's a game called Workplace Hero for that. Yes, there really is. Food management, environmental management, things along those lines.
Food preparation officer.
So if anyone thinks they're good with game design or thinks they've got an idea for it along those lines, I suggest you go to the Good Game website.
Okay.
Just check ABC Net if you want.
Thank you. Killerfish, anything from across your pond?
That
sounded
other than the Tory leader saying sorry that he got some things wrong about the economic climate decisions currently, for not warning us about the extent of the UK debt crisis. Other than that, nothing I can really think about. Sorry, Scott, what was that?
Nothing to think about? Nothing? Really? Including nothing about the current United States president being a total and complete jackass to the British Prime Minister? Nothing about that?
Oh, well, you know, we're very stiff-upper-lipped about things like that around here.
Well, I would like to, on behalf of all American bunnies, apologize profusely to all British bunnies for the incredibly stupid way that our president has handled that particular visit. And we can go into details.
I'm interested in hearing what this is about, because I've not heard anything about this.
The mainstream media report anything negative about Barack Obama? You're kidding! Anyway, all right. So here's what happened, and this is I'm not reading from my direct source on this because I don't want to look it up right at the moment. But it is available, and I'll probably post a link to the pertinent article when I put up the show notes. But what happened was when so the British Prime Minister, as is customary by now, is coming over to the United States to meet with the newly elected President Barack Obama. All the new presidents of the United States get a visit from the British Prime Minister at the time. It's just customary at this point.
Since World War II.
Since World War II. So, the British Prime Minister is coming over, and our wonderful President Obama, who comes from Chicago, where we know how to handle weather, and yes, he actually said that at one point, decided that he was not going to go to the already scheduled, all the press were there, the British Prime Minister and his wife were there, and everybody was ready to go, press conference, because of, quote, snow. And I read one person commenting on the fact that they were sure that there was somewhere in some room in the White House that did not have snow in it. And that's not even the end of the story. So they get past that incredibly stupid faux pas, and they continue with the Prime Minister's visit to Washington, D.C. As is customary for visiting dignitaries of any nation, the British Prime Minister and his wife have brought gifts. The British Prime Minister brings to the United
Spotted
States
dick.
brings to the United States a pen holder to sit on the presidential desk. Now, for those who are not American and not versed well in American-British history, the desk that sits in the White House,
Resolute desk.
the Resolute desk, thank you, was made from the wood from a British ship called the HMS
Resolute.
Resolute.
Hmm.
Well, the sister ship to the HMS Resolute is the wood from that ship was used to create this pen holder. And you want to talk about a historical, symbolic, wonderful gift from one dignitary leader of a nation to another dignitary leader of a nation. That's a fantastic gift. Very thoughtful, very well thought out. I mean, I'm a history buff myself, and I probably would have teared up at that if I was receiving that as a gift, if I were in that position. So what does Barack Obama give in return to this visiting dignitary who gives this gift that is literally priceless?
A gift voucher?
It might as well have been 25 DVDs in American Region 1 format. But that's not the end of the story. Not to be outdone by her husband, there's Michelle Obama has a part in this as well. Okay, so the British Prime Minister's wife, I forget her name, she brings from one of the top flight clothing stores in England wonderful custom-made outfits for the Obama daughters. Michelle Obama sends a couple of members of her staff to the White House gift shop to pick up a couple of toy Marine One helicopters for the Prime Minister and his wife's sons. And I'm thinking, this is the man that's supposed to make the United States all better with the rest of the world. This is no. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but so far he's failing me miserably. And I actually kind of expected it. This is just sad and disgusting. And so
well, truth be told, nowadays everyone expects that the president's going to fail miserably no matter what. After Bush, yeah,
you set a new low, and you know.
Well, my comment in response to that is that in a couple of weeks' time, it's meant to be that Kevin Rudd's going over to visit Obama. So you can tell that's going to be such an important date on Obama's calendar.
What was the phrase I was going to use? Oh yeah, that was it. He's hit rock bottom and started digging.
Well, in terms of grabbing a shovel and possibly even a backhoe, there has been...
As a comment I could make that, but no.
There's been a bust of Winston Churchill. I mean, you talking about the Clintons this time? There's been a bust of Winston Churchill that England sent to the United States in the wake of 9/11, as a sort of a solidarity gift, a show of support, a physical token of the UK saying to the US, we're with you, or we're standing behind you, kind of thing. It has been sitting there since 9/11. Obama sent it back. Okay.
Don't really hear the full story about that one day. But, yeah.
So,
Technically speaking, it just made me think best gift they've ever known Bush to have actually given out to any of his visiting dignitaries was when Howard was over in the US in 2001. And that was he gave Howard the bill to the USS Canberra. The USS Canberra was I think it was a missile destroyer named after an Australian vessel which basically took a torpedo for an American ship in the Battle of the Coral Sea. So that was kind of a big thing to pass it over. Little historic note about that date, it happened on September the 10th.
oh, interesting.
Interesting little side note is the next day, Howard was still in Washington. So, yes, Howard got to see the 9/11 attacks. And if you want to be a bit fun about that with Bush, where was he?
In a school classroom, yes, we know.
Yes.
In any case. So, moving on to other news, there's in less international import, which is unfortunate because it's really, really neat. Amazon.com has released for the U.S. market in the iPhone App Store a nice little application called the Kindle iPhone app. And the only reason I even bothered to mention it, especially for an international readership, is that it really is bringing the whole ebook thing to a much wider audience than would normally pick it up. I mean, when you think about it, the Kindle itself is, what, $350?
Yeah.
And the iPhone is between $200 and $600, depending on whether or not you qualify for the subsidy and which size you get. So it's going to be, you're either going to get one or the other. You're highly unlikely to get both, considering how much each costs. So,
Especially in today's economy.
Yeah. If there's already an install base of how many million iPhones at this point? And
Several.
Yeah, and there's already an install base of the Kindle of, I think it's 500,000.
10 people.
No, it's actually a pretty sizable chunk. That they completely sold out of all manufactured units of the original run of the Kindle, and they're selling the Kindle 2 like hotcakes. So,
What, you mean people come along and eat them?
what?
Selling them like hotcakes. People come along and eat them.
No. It's an American.
There's a reply to that.
colloquialism.
There's a reply to that, and that reply is... There we go.
Squato has
I
got
thought we
some
agreed no sound
effects.
effects.
You and
Later.
I agreed. I don't think Squato actually ever agreed to anything, come to think of it. Anyways, so if you're in the U.S. market and you have an iPhone or an iPod Touch, any generation of it, I'd highly suggest you pick up the Kindle app. The application itself is free, and I was looking through the Kindle bookstore, and there's some free books that you can get in addition to the usual paid library. For instance, one of the free books is something called His Majesty's Dragon, which oddly enough fell under science fiction. Plus there's classics like some stuff from H.G. Wells. But one thing that's really cool that I've already taken advantage of is the sample feature. I've got sitting on my iPhone right now a sample of If Harry Potter Ran General Electric, Halo, Ghosts of Onyx, Reality Dysfunction, a couple Star Trek books. But where I took advantage of it was I had downloaded a sample of Dauntless, the first book in the Lost Fleet saga, and it was so good that I decided to go ahead and download the whole series, which got $26 from me into Amazon's coffers. So it works.
What is that
as a
series
tool.
about? Is that a science fiction one?
It is indeed a science fiction series. The main character is a captain of a ship that went down during the first engagement of a war between the Planetary Alliance, which are the good guys, if you will, and the Syndicate Planets, which are the bad guys. It's almost like the conflict between the United States and the USSR during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Only with more shooting.
With a lot more shooting. And at one point they reveal that the Alliance worlds are not even sure why the Syndicate started the war in the first place. It was just a surprise attack. But this main character, Captain Geary, was he was like the hero of this first surprise attack battle, and he went down with his ship, but he hopped into an escape pod, and the escape pod jettisoned just as the ship was blowing up, which damaged the communications equipment, so nobody knew to come along and pick him up after that happened. While he was in hibernation sleep, to extend the possibility of him being rescued, but nobody found him for 100 years when, with the war still going on, the Alliance fleet is sweeping in to try and end the war by wiping out the Syndicate homeworlds. What they didn't know is they were driving straight into a trap, and which, through incidents that are actually described within like the first 3 pages of the book, the admiralty of the fleet is killed, and Captain Geary, being the senior-most officer of the fleet, being literally a century plus old at this point, is given command of the fleet. And it's...
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got the basic idea of it.
And that's literally the first half of Chapter 1 that I just described there.
Nice.
It
sort of reminds me of the Honor Harrington series by what's his face? David something or other. Anyway, yeah. I'll be interested in reading that.
Yeah, I do wish that the Kindle store was available for the UK, but it's not yet. And I know Amazon is working on that. So hopefully you'll be able to read it soon, Killerfish and Squato.
Hopefully, my comment was when you're saying about that. Hopefully, Amazon will actually one day release an Australian version of Amazon.
Oh, you guys don't even have an Amazon Australia.
Yeah, which is kind of odd.
Indeed.
You don't have Amazons? You poor, poor man.
Okay.
No, that would be New Zealand because that's where Xena was.
I thought Lucy Lawless was from Tasmania. Or am I wrong?
No, she's a sheep effer.
Ah, okay. I don't.
Oy.
Okay. Did we want to talk about any other comics right now?
The Watch, because we're on 910, little comment on that. Looks like that the forum stuff's starting to get onto that nowadays. And by forum, by oh crap! I just forgot his name on the forums. Just
Decaf?
a second. Decaf, thank you. Yeah, Decaf. He's doing this thing in regards to a certain minor comment in the story.
Yes, Kelly the hair scrunchie.
Oh,
That's
yeah. That was funny, I have to admit. What happened to Kelly the hair scrunchie? Anyways.
As to the other comments, the other comics on 910, just looking through. Nah, nothing really to say about them either. They haven't updated, nothing really major in update-wise, or they're not even really bothered to keep an eye on them.
Well, the Watch Cheer is continuing to update, which is nice because it gives us a good bit of watchy goodness.
Fine. Thank you. Yeah, and although it's kind of doing the old welding. Sorry, I was about to say Welding Conflict, but I played that game too much.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and one bit I'm kind of like okay, it's another World in Warcraft thing going on. How many other comics have been doing jokes about that game? And it's kind of been, if you want to think, it probably peaked when South Park did the joke about the game.
Yeah. I think they did a better job than anybody else that could possibly do it.
I don't know, I like the American Dad version of what they did with it.
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look into it.
It's called Dungeons and Wagons. That's the name of the episode.
Something else has done another good version. I can't remember what it was offhand. Unimportant.
Yeah. But yes.
Okay.
Moving on.
Well, actually, in the watch, I just have the following to say. The two characters that are in the World
Warning,
War...
controversy alert.
What's her name? It's not Joanne.
Anonymous?
No, Cheer.
Cheer?
Yeah.
Joe? Oh no, I'm offhand. I can't think.
The girl who is
Sam is the one in charge.
Role playing.
Lita is
Lita.
Lita.
Or however it's meant to be pronounced. Yeah, she's
Lita.
Yeah.
All I have to say is Lita really should just come out and tell Alex how she feels, because it's really clear that there's more going on than just being friends there.
Nah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so as getting to the discussion of this particular podcast, like we haven't been discussing things like crazy up to now, the Watchmen. The bunnies watched the Watchmen, which was actually a really, really nice experience. Okay, who's seen the movie? I know I have.
Yo, I've seen The Watchmen.
Okay, Killerfish, did you ever get a chance?
No, I didn't. I read The Watchmen.
Okay, so we're all...
Who heard The Watchmen?
Well, given that we've seen the movie, we've heard them. Moving on.
Did you feel The Watchmen?
No, I did not feel The Watchmen. This is probably where you are expecting to segue into the blue penis joke, but we're not going to go there. So let's just to let all the bunnies know, and this will be a good time for us to take a break for the show split. But we're going to be spoiling things like crazy, and there's a very good reason for it. There's an episode, or there's not an episode. There's a comic strip in Real Life Comics where Greg Dean, the main character, is talking to one of his friends about how he's really looking forward to the Two Towers, where Gandalf comes back from having fought the Balrog, and his friend says, "Wait a minute, Gandalf's alive?" And he says, "Dude, the book has been out for like 50 years. You just go into a bookstore. That's like saying everybody in Macbeth dies." And he says, "Wait a minute, everyone in Macbeth dies?"
Or like saying
Spoiler,
the Titanic sinks.
Jesus dies on page 642 of the Bible.
What was that, Killerfish?
Or saying, warning, the Titanic sinks at the end.
There's no reason for you to complain about spoilers at this point, because the story has been widely available. You can read about the entire thing on Wikipedia. Heck, there's an entire Watchmen wiki where you can dig into the details of each individual aspect of the story. So don't complain about spoilers.
And the ones that rip it off basically just make it very clear what it's really ripping off.
Yeah, pretty much.
In fact, they've got the Mad magazine that rips it off at the moment open. Yes, I'll talk about that one.
We're going to go ahead and break here for the episode break, and we'll see y'all next week.
simple